Hi there, and thank you for joining me for today's live reading of Praise Mastering Mischief Shattered Embrace 2.1 by Alyndra Quinn, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1 Ashton. My once predictable life has become a chaotic whirlwind since I've become involved with Zachary Ingram. My fingers trace a phantom line on my wrist where his cuffs circle, missing the comforting weight and the symbol of being his submissive. I only wear them inside Club Shattered Embrace, but their significance is constant. It's part of who I am, even if I'm only submitting to him in the bedroom or the club. Our undeniable connection is both exhilarating and distracting. I need to focus. This declaration of discovery won't write and filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Technically, I won't file it either, but I do like to give the lawyers a polished copy to reduce their questions later. But the blinking cursor on my monitor can't hold my attention as my thoughts drift back to the first night that Zachary gave me his cuffs and introduced me as his submissive. As always, he was protective, taking care to ease me into the club, doubling as his second home. The memory of our dinner together, him feeding me while I kneeled on a plush cushion at his feet. The surrounding atmosphere was one of curiosity, sensuality, and acceptance. It was the acceptance in his eyes that filled me with a sense of deep contentment I'd never known. In Zachary's care, my internal struggle over my submissive needs vanished, but my social anxiety isn't easily overcome. Not by me, anyhow. Zachary, well, he has superpowers. If life is the inspiration of fiction, he's the muse for all the super hot demon lovers with the power of mind reading and emotion manipulation on the best selling charts. He short circuited my anxiety by flooding my body with arousal. Clothed or not, my Dom moves with effortless sensuality. He didn't care who was looking as he ground his hard body against mine until I was putty in his arms on the dance floor in the club lounge. I miss him. I've gotten along just fine on my own for a long time, and I still can. The thing is, I don't want to. I'm just happier when he's around, although not necessarily more settled. The man delights in unsettling me. The memory of what came next floats through my mind. It's on continual replay through my dreams, both daytime and nocturnal. The gentle pulsing beat of the music was a soundtrack to the kaleidoscope of emotions he'd evoked effortlessly after leading me into a group scene room next to the club's main dungeon. While we were out in the open, in public, well, by my standards anyhow, Zachary was just hanging out in his second home. We'd settled on the smooth leather couch in one of several seating alcoves lining the dimly lit room. My Dom settled me between his splayed thighs, taking care not to crush the flowing skirt of my dress as he arranged it over my thighs. He'd left one big warm hand resting on my inner thigh above my knee possessively. Relax, Mischief, he said against my neck as he grazed his lips over my bare shoulder. I've got you. With effort, I relaxed and turned my attention to the gorgeous curvy woman preparing a table near a metal frame in the center of the stage. The grace she moved with held my and the audience's attention captive, her glowy, supple, honeyed skin tone on full display in the stage lights as she arranged an array of floggers, crops, and paddles on a table. Her movements were quick and precise, a task she'd done many times before. The pleased anticipation lighting her soft face captivated me. She's so happy, I say softly to Zachary, for a moment forgetting our potential audience. Marissa's devoted to her master and enjoys the kiss of a flogger. She has good reason to anticipate pleasure. His sexy whisper caresses my ear as his arms slide around my waist, snuggling me in tighter against his hard body. My insides turn to liquid excitement, as they always do when I'm surrounded by Zachary's heat and addictive scent. Marissa's arms splayed wide, cuffed to the rack parallel to her shoulders before her master secured her ankles. Once she was well and truly trussed up, he caressed her leg up from calf to inner thigh. In a mirroring motion, Zachary's hand slid up under my skirt, and I trembled as it rested high on my thigh. I turned to him, lips parted to say something about the number of people in the room, possibly, but his lips brushed over mine. Are you mine, Mischief? Yes, sir. I spoke against his lips, our breaths mingling. Then watch and feel. I've got you. My gaze returned to the pair on the stage just as the Dom picked up a flogger. He tested its weight as the soft strands swished through the air. As if he's conducting an orchestra, the volume of conversation hushes, then fades away. Satisfied, Marissa's master stepped close to her and stroked her back and hip with the strands, drawing out a breathy moan from her full lips. As he repeated the gesture, Zachary's hand rose from my waist to cup and knead my breast. Zachary, I whispered a protest. Instantly, he pinched my nipple tight enough to send aching electricity over my nerves as he growled in my ear. Watch and feel. You don't have permission to speak, little one. You're mine, and I'm going to enjoy you. Behave, and you'll enjoy it too. His words vaguely annoyed me, but the dominance underpinning them got my panties damp anyhow. The first thudding stroke of the flogger against Marissa's back and her answering breathy moan drew my attention. In moments, the hypnotic swish and slap of the strands mesmerized me, utterly absorbed with the deepening rose-flushed skin and dark eyes, glassy with pleasure. Zachary's fingers slid into my panties and circled my clit gently, teasingly. Never quite as much pressure as my nerves were begging for. I'd felt so exposed and yet thrillingly free and safe in Zachary's arms. He explored my body with expert skill until I was humming in arousal, grounded to only him and riveted to the scene playing out in front of me. He slowly drew feelings of longing out of me I never knew was possible, whispering words of encouragement in my ear. My clothes stayed on, if not quite in place with all my squirming in his lap. But as he pulled his hand from under my skirt, he'd issued a strained, raspy warning in my ear. Welcome to my world, beautiful. Yours is about to get a lot more adventurous. I startle at the sound of knuckles rapping on my open office door. I cough, blush, and fervently hope that I didn't whimper or moan aloud while lost in the memory of Zachary making me come over and over. I forget everything far too often lately, including when I'm not alone in my house. Jax, my bodyguard, who totally looks the part with all his ripped muscles, quiet brooding, and sexy hand tattoos, steps into my office wearing his typical stern expression. I squeeze my thighs together, trying to banish the pulsing heat in my core as I focus on the present and the man eyeing me accusingly. It's almost 7, and you haven't eaten yet, he says without preamble. He certainly takes the job of ensuring not only my safety, but my well-being seriously. Not surprising since he's been Zachary's head of security for a decade. But with Lucian's current whereabouts unknown, I'd rather Jax be with his boss in NYC than prowl around my perfectly secure house worrying about my nutrition. His presence is a comforting source of up-to-date information about the man in my fantasy, though. Did Zachary wrap up his meetings and make it back to the hotel yet? Jax eyes me with a knowing look. No meetings today. He spent the afternoon making arrangements for this weekend. Arrangements? Is he staying in the city? I keep a lid on the heaviness in my chest and my voice even. It's been a long week. We've both been swamped with work and our schedules haven't aligned well for much talking. His dark eyes soften. He's about to say something, but his watch draws his attention. He reads a message and then looks back to me, a hint of smile curving his lips. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and pulls out a cream envelope, offering it to me as he asks, pizza or Chinese? What? I'm not following as I look from him to the invitation with my name scrawled across the front in Zachary's distinctive handwriting. Pizza or Chinese? He repeats. I'm ordering you food right now. What's the hurry? I ask with a chuckle. Either's fine. Whatever you want. Z will call soon to talk about your weekend together, and you're going to tell him food is on the way. Double pepperoni, cheese, garlic bread, and Caesar salad coming right up. Our weekend together? He's not due home until Sunday night. I tug the flap of the envelope up a tad too eagerly. An entire weekend with Zachary. The possibilities flash through my mind, each more decadent than the last. My teeth sink into my bottom lip as I pull the cardstock from the silver-lined envelope. Jax chuckles, studying me. Well, at least something finally made you happier. Is it that obvious? I huff a laugh. Just a bit, his hint of smile returns. It's good you two found each other. You both deserve more in life than work. Success doesn't equal happiness. He clears his throat and makes a beeline into the other room, already dialing his phone, perhaps embarrassed. This wobbly line of professionalism and friendship between us seems to unsettle my unflappable protector. However, it's the fleeting moments of shared concern for Zachary that soften my attitude about having a bodyguard underfoot. My fingers trace over the embossed lettering of the invitation. An exclusive VIP Members Weekend event at Shattered Embrace. A members only weekend event. Are we staying in the club for multiple days? I didn't know visiting for more than a few hours was possible. The ring of my phone pulls me from my speculation. I snatch it off the desk, my pulse quickening at the sight of Zachary's name on the screen. Zachary, I breathe his name like a prayer. You're coming home early. Soon, my mischief. His smooth baritone washes over me despite the distance. How was your day? The usual. Meetings. Then I worked at home on the new product filing. I didn't get enough done, but at least Jack's got a break. He's more relaxed here. I can't believe we're doing the how was your day shtick when I'm holding an invitation to a weekend of wickedness. I also know better than to press. He and Jax timed this, and his first lesson was not to rush his timing. It's a lesson I'm having a hard time learning, and I know he's testing me when he replies, How considerate of you to think of him. Have you eaten dinner? Soon, Jax ordered in from Pizarro's. So he found you working when he delivered my note then. A hint of an edge enters his tone. My eating habits are an ongoing debate. I've lived alone for a long time, meaning I got used to eating by hunger, not by the clock. So far, my heart is more on board with keeping Zachary happy than either my stomach or my head when I'm working. I lost track of time, but I would have eaten soon, I confidently say, even though my meal skipping habits don't warrant such confidence. Really? He sounds amused now. My Dom learned quickly how to use the honesty clause in our contract to his advantage. While I might be crap at eating on a schedule, attempting to lie to Zachary makes me annoyingly nauseous. Were you getting hungry? No, I admit, but it would have gotten dark, and I would have wondered if you were at a dinner meeting. I miss you, I whisper. Hating the soft sound of it, I clear my throat and ask, How did the final meeting with Stevens go? He's come to see the merits of the merger. It's in the hands of the lawyers now. He pauses, letting the obvious question hang in the air, toying with me. Finally, I hear him smile. Since you've been so patient asking about his weekend, I'll hold off on consequences for your lack of self-care for now. Consequences? But it's on the way. Would you like to debate about how time works and when you're supposed to eat dinner? Or would you like to know what you need to do in the next 12 hours? He asks, mildly, speaking with the easy silken tone he uses whenever he knows he's won. I growl in frustration. It's not like I purposely didn't eat. What difference does it make if I make dinner at 6:30 or 7? He's being such an ass. He chuckles as if I'd spoken the thoughts aloud. Choose wisely, Mischief. It'll be good practice for our adventure this weekend. Why did I have to go and fall for a hard-ass Dom again?